KUAM TV 8, your home for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson celebrating the 75th liberation with the people of Guam. Biba Guam. Cars Plus, reminding you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads Up Guam. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And steaks, ribs, seafood, and our famous fresh garden bar, Ruby Tuesday. Good times you can taste.
Right now on Primetime, the man shot on the northern base has died. We've got the latest on the investigation. Plus, today was day 3 of legislative session, and Nestor Lecanto reports from the Guam Congress building. And it's definitely a beautiful sight. Chris Barnett tells you why the island is experiencing an influx of butterflies. Hafaday, everybody, and good evening. I'm Jason Salas, and a special warm hafaday to all of you joining us online live. Well, Anderson Air Force Base is releasing very few details on our top story about a man shot dead after a high-speed chase that started in Tamuning and ended with the suspect crashing through the front gate barriers.
Air Force officials say it was self-defense, lethal force used to take down a man who stabbed a civilian security officer on base. The man who died, but not yet identified by the military, was a suspect in a home invasion that occurred along Ipao Road. He took police on a high-speed chase Wednesday night, taking them from Tamuning to Anderson, where he ran through the front gate barriers, crashed, and fled on foot. For hours, the base was on lockdown up until 10 o'clock when Anderson Air Force Base on its Facebook page posted the lockdown had been lifted. Quote, the immediate threat had passed. But the search for the suspect wasn't over because at 6:35 a.m. the following day, the suspect was located. A press release stating he stabbed a Department of Defense civilian security officer and in self-defense, base security shot him. 36th Wing Commander Brigadier General Gentry Boswell stating, quote, while apprehending a suspect, our defenders were compelled to use lethal force for their own defense, resulting in the death of the suspect. Meanwhile, according to a new post late this afternoon on Anderson Air Force Base's Facebook page, the defender who was stabbed is healthy and doing well. As for the investigation, the Naval Criminal Investigative Service and Air Force Office of Special Investigation are working together with security forces and Guam police to conduct a thorough investigation into the incident and the use of force. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas, Matsanani.
Elsewhere on island today, a joint status conference was held downtown in federal court relative to the clergy sex abuse cases filed against the Archdiocese of Agana. We've, of course, reported that Thursday was the deadline for all sexual proofs of claim to be filed with the District Court of Guam, with the final tally of sexual abuse complaints coming in at 262. In January, the church filed for bankruptcy with Archbishop Michael Burns at the time, saying the motivation for the filing was the desire to bring the greatest measure of justice and consolation to those who have suffered at the hands of the clergy. The church believes Chapter 11 reorganization will achieve the best possible result for compensation for all victims. Now that the claims have been filed, the next step is mediation with the Archdiocese's insurers, abuse claimants, and their legal representatives. Federal bankruptcy judge Robert Ferris will be here in October to begin that mediation process. Well, on Thursday evening, officers responded to a walk-in criminal sexual conduct complaint downtown at the Hagatna precinct. Police ultimately arrested Danny Jr. Na'a after interviewing the 12-year-old victim. Court documents state the victim was 6 or 7 when Na'a first sexually assaulted her at the playground of her former residence. Na'a then allegedly assaulted her more than 10 times while living in another area. The victim alleges Na'a assaulted her again in July 2019. He was charged with second-degree criminal sexual conduct as a first-degree felony, and he was booked and confined. Elsewhere, Jayanika Lawrence was scheduled to appear in court today, but her hearing has now been moved to September 4th, with attorney Leilani Lujan additionally appointed to represent her. Lawrence, along with UOG professor Thomas Marler, have been accused of being involved in a scheme to rid Biggs for federally funded projects worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Marler has already pleaded not guilty, with Marler a principal investigator for UOG's federally funded projects and was responsible for awarding the work and payments. He allegedly failed to disclose his financial interest in a company called Isla Paraiso, which also with Lawrence's company Sansar Consultants. As a result of the scheme, the duo cashed in on more than $200,000 in projects between 2013 and June of 2015. Marler is due back in court in early October. Well, one man on island, Sedfri Linsangan, is taking a stand against Guam's marijuana law that makes it legal for adults to smoke recreationally, and the government argues for dismissal based on a lack of standing. In district court, Judge Manabusan heard from both sides in a motion hearing for summary judgment. Lansangan makes the argument of a Controlled Substance Act violation and Organic Act violation, additionally highlighting on the due process the government of Guam took to legalizing marijuana.
The due process, that's another reason, because it is the procedural due process was also violated. You know, where I indicated about the town hall meeting, and at the same time they're voting in the legislature. They should wait for a few days and hear the people relay their issue about the pros and cons of marijuana that could have changed the outcome of the vote.
The government also argues that under the Controlled Substance Act, Guam may pass laws relative to marijuana so long as they do not create a positive conflict with federal law. Lansangan says he has injury of fear and insecurity because of the increase of crime resulting from the legalization of marijuana. Judge Manabusan heard the motions and plans to make a recommendation to the chief judge. In other island news headlines tonight, the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center has some explaining to do to federal judge Consuela Marshall. Our next report is with Chris Barnett.
Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center has until September 4th to show why it shouldn't be sanctioned for failing to comply with the orders of a permanent injunction. Judge Consuela Marshall saying the agency has to submit status reports for June, July, and August of this year. Meanwhile, GBHWC Director Therese Areola tells KUAM News she has been filing required reports and she's not sure why Judge Marshall references only 2018 reports in her order to show cause. So we asked Director Areola, is the judge mistaken?
No, I'm not saying that. I don't know. I'm not sure why the judge is just referencing August 2018 reports. I know that I submitted February and we have April reports in, and we were about to submit July's report in, but when we got the order to show cause, we did not want to confuse the matter with the judge, so we held back at the advisement of the Attorney General's office.
An injunction placed on the agency by the U.S. District Court in 2014 requiring it to file quarterly reports to show concerns cited by the court are being addressed. GBHWC sued for not providing adequate care for its patients. Areola says the department has hired a full-time pharmacist, received accreditation, and is opening a detox unit in September. These are all examples, the director says, that the department is moving forward. So we asked her if her agency is now providing adequate care for those suffering from mental health issues.
Yeah, absolutely, and it helps. It helps that that the department has to report every quarter progress, and so it's really getting the department up to par and addressing a lot of these things. And so, do I feel that the permanent injunction has helped Guam Behavioral Health get to a point of excellence of service and just better focused on being customer-centered and excellent for excellence of service? Absolutely. I think when you have to show progress constantly every quarter, it drives the department to get where they need to be.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Well, today was day 3 of the August legislative session as your elected senators discussed a bill to allow the airport to refund a portion of the existing bond with which to take advantage of lower interest rates and then use the savings for more capital improvements. Nestor Lecanto has more.
The Guam International Airport borrowed $245 million in 2013 for several major projects, primarily the construction of a new third-floor arrivals corridor. But Budget Director Lester Carlson says this would be a good time to take advantage of favorable market conditions.
The request before you today is to get your approval so that we can refund a portion of the bonds, always ensuring that the net present value savings threshold of a minimum of 2% is achieved at any juncture.
The airport expects to save about $2 million a year in interest as a result of the refunding. The bill by Senator Joe San Augustine would also extend the same refunding authorization to all other outstanding portions of the airport bond, as explained by GITA Deputy Administrator Ricky Hernandez.
And so if there's a portion sometime in the future that is within the parameters of the savings, 2% net present value savings in the future, then the bill essentially requests for that authorization for that period of time.
The airport says the money would go to a variety of capital improvements, such as runway and apron rehabilitation. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
All right, Nestor, thanks so much. He also adds that session resumes on Monday with senators trying to clear out their remaining bills on the agenda ahead of next week's expected debate over the next fiscal year's budget bill. Well, it is now one and done for the public school system's first week of the new year, and our Adriana Cotero spoke with Superintendent John Fernandez of GDOE for an update on the teacher and one-to-one aide shortages.
It's been an ongoing issue, teachers and one-to-one school aides shortages. In the past, the numbers reported have been significantly higher, but yet again, the school year begins with vacancies.
We still are in the process of continuing to hire for any vacant positions. Earlier today, I was informed that our classroom positions, we've got about 12 vacancies that are still pending, so that's not too bad. We're kind of made progress from where we used to be.
As when the Guam Department of Education counted before the school year, there were about 50 openings. And as far as one-to-one aides?
We're still seeing a lot of turnover, so I think we're down to, out of 300, I think we're down to probably 20 to 30 positions that are still needing to be filled. So what we're doing is, again, it's such a hard thing to track and to address because the numbers have gone up. Just the other day, I think it's just yesterday, we were informed there were 4 resignations because of that part-time status.
Every day, it's up and down, says Fernandez, and despite the shortfall, he is happy with how the school year started, thanking the Guam Police Department, Fire Department, and National Guard for welcoming the students back.
We had such an excellent, I think an excellent start to the school year, and I'm really thankful for the police officers and the firefighters and our guardsmen and guardswomen who were out here. That really made an impact.
GDOE is seeking hires and encourages those interested to apply. To contact GDOE Human Resources at 475-0496. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
Well, we got a weekly update for you now on tax refunds. Is coming next Monday, over 960 such refunds, totaling approximately $2.8 million, will be mailed out. These are for error-free returns filed on or before February 15th of this year. Once again, 964 tax refunds on Monday going out, $2.8 million in all filed on or before February 15th. And with that, we ask you to please stay tuned because there are many more island news headlines. Keep watching and keep streaming because prime time continues right after this.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
A beautiful, healthy smile is an expression of confidence. The more confident you are about your smile, the more likely you are to fully express your feelings without having to worry about the way your teeth look.
Before cosmetic dentistry, I didn't smile as much. I didn't have the confidence, and it shows. And since I've had cosmetic dentistry done, I feel 10 times more confident. I make my initial introduction with a nice big smile and a handshake, and I just feel like it really is a relationship builder, a nice warm smile, and it makes the clients and customers feel more comfortable with you, feeling confident, and they feel that you're not just there for business, that you're also there kind of as a friend as well. So I mean, it's amazing how powerful a smile can be. A good smile.
Since your smile makes a significant impression on those around you, it is important that it makes the impression you want it to make.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.